NASA's latest $1 billion Houston initiative is stirring controversy across political and scientific communities alike. The ambitious plan involves overhauling key infrastructure at the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. While NASA touts modernization, critics argue the plan disregards community impact and financial accountability. At the heart of the uproar is the plan's large budget allocation for non-research-related facilities. The project includes constructing high-end buildings intended for public outreach and tourism-related activities. These additions are viewed by some as excessive spending unrelated to space science or mission readiness. Opponents question whether taxpayer money should fund what they see as luxury developments. Meanwhile, NASA insists the upgrades are essential for engaging the next generation of scientists and explorers. Houston's Johnson Space Center has long been a cornerstone of America's spaceflight operations and astronaut training. But many argue those core functions are being overshadowed by flashy, commercialized additions. The proposed visitor complex would include immersive exhibits, restaurants, and retail shops. Critics argue that such features shift NASA's mission from exploration to entertainment. Environmental advocates are also sounding alarms about the plan's potential ecological impact. They cite increased urbanization, land use changes, and carbon footprint as serious concerns. Wildlife habitats in the area could be disrupted by ongoing construction and increased human activity. NASA counters these claims by promising sustainable architecture and eco-friendly practices throughout the project. Residents feel left out of the planning process and are demanding more transparency from NASA. Community meetings have reportedly lacked detailed explanations about how the money will be used. Many Houstonians worry the funds won't directly benefit their neighborhoods or public services. Some are pushing for an independent audit to verify how taxpayer funds are being allocated. NASA defends the budget by citing long overdue repairs and facility upgrades that can no longer be postponed. According to NASA officials, some buildings date back to the 1960s and are not up to modern codes. They argue the upgrades are necessary for both safety and mission efficiency. Still, critics say the renovation should prioritize laboratories and launch preparation zones, not tourist attractions. Supporters of the plan emphasize the potential for job creation and local economic stimulation. New construction contracts and hospitality services could benefit businesses around Houston. NASA has partnered with local firms and universities to involve more of the community in the project. Despite these efforts, the debate continues about whether the project's benefits outweigh its costs. Media coverage has amplified tensions, often framing the situation as a battle between vision and responsibility. National news outlets have picked up the story, highlighting frustrations from both citizens and former NASA employees. Several retired astronauts have weighed in with mixed opinions about the project's focus and long-term impact. Some argue it dilutes NASA's core mission, while others say it helps secure public interest and funding. NASA's budget comes from congressional appropriations, meaning lawmakers also play a role in funding approval. The plan has become a hot topic in upcoming elections, with candidates using it to frame their platforms. Some politicians criticize the plan as an example of government waste and misplaced priorities. Others defend it as a necessary investment in future generations and scientific leadership. Experts warn that if public backlash grows, the entire project could face delays or budget cuts. This wouldn't be the first time NASA faced roadblocks due to political or public resistance. Previous projects like the Constellation program were scrapped after mounting controversy and cost overruns. NASA is now working to avoid similar setbacks by emphasizing outreach and stakeholder engagement. Educational groups are caught in the middle, unsure whether the plan helps or hinders STEM engagement. On one hand, high-tech exhibits could inspire students to pursue space science careers. On the other hand, critics fear those resources would be better spent supporting schools and teacher training. Local school districts have yet to issue a unified stance, reflecting the issue's divisive nature. The space agency has scheduled several public forums in the coming months to gather more community input. Officials hope these events will clarify misconceptions and build consensus around the project's value. However, skepticism remains high, especially among taxpayers questioning the use of federal funds. Transparency, accountability, and scientific focus are the main themes driving ongoing public discussions. Animal rights groups have also weighed in, as the expansion may impact wildlife near the Johnson Space Center. Concerns include potential displacement of native species and increased pollution from construction activities. NASA has responded by initiating environmental assessments and consulting with conservation experts. Still, the project remains controversial among ecological advocates, pushing for stricter environmental oversight. This situation highlights broader concerns about the role of government agencies in community and environmental stewardship. Balancing innovation, responsibility, and public trust is proving more complex than many officials anticipated. NASA remains committed to progress, but it must now do so while navigating a growing wave of scrutiny. The future of the $1 billion Houston plan hangs in the balance as voices grow louder on both sides. From urban planning to habitat protection, this project intersects with numerous social and scientific priorities. It represents more than a renovation. It's a reflection of America's values and direction in space policy. As the debate unfolds, every stakeholder, from lawmakers to locals, will play a role in shaping the outcome. NASA now faces one of its toughest missions yet, building a future that inspires without leaving anyone behind.